Oh, wow. It actually worked this time. How absolutely amazing. All right. I wasn't actually going to do a live today, but my art job ended today for the semester, and I didn't really have as much work as I thought I was going to. So here we are. I had a bunch of people asking me in the comments in the last video, I think it was, why I'm still so fat, or if you're obese, why are you talking about high carb, low fat? Um, It's the only way that I've ever known to lose weight at a good, steady pace and not have to count calories, but even when I have counted calories in the back in the day, it always ended up backfiring. So I'm just gonna keep running with it. I do think there is something to starches, and I thought it would be easier to lose weight with starch, but it just doesn't seem to be that way. So there's that. I don't know if anybody's gonna come on here today. It's Friday at this time, 4 o'clock. I don't really know. I might just wrap for a little while. If people come on here, great. If not, I'll just do like a 10-minute wrap and be on with my day. So anyway, I'm definitely gonna start doing a lot more fruit, and I have been testing out other things. I like to cook, which becomes an issue. Sometimes I make food maybe too complicated for my gut to understand. So I've been simplifying things and like for example, I'll just have steamed potatoes now, or I'll just have like pasta with just a little bit of marinara sauce on it, and that's it. Whereas back in the even like 2 weeks ago, I would just make an entire chili or I'd make an entire something or other. And I don't know if it's overcomplicated food. I have no idea what it is. I know that some people can do this all day long and have absolutely no issues and lose weight like crazy. Others of us, just not that lucky. I think I'm working my way to just going back to raw, like 90, 95% raw. A 7 day, what do I think about a 7 day drying fasting? No, that is insane. I mean, if you're gonna do it while you're in the hospital, I mean, you legit could end up in the hospital from that. But anyway, this channel really was just a channel of my journey of getting back to a normal weight when I was 292, and I've I've kind of been my own test subject for a lot of things. I've done the pound a day of sugar. I've done a lot of the different other things. I've done all raw. I've done all starches. I've done the rice diet. I've done a couple of other things. I've always kept my calorie count at probably around 4,000. I don't really count it. Everybody thinks that I'm eating like 10,000 calories a day. But the only one that really did noticeable health wise was when I did all raw last Lent, which was for 40 days. Dry fasting, from what I've read, is very good. Look up. I'm not looking up another doctor. I'm not. I did the doctor thing. I'm just so washing my hands of these doctors. You know, people ask me if how I feel about things, and then I say how I feel about it, and then they shove some doctor or study in my face. I did a dry fast one Sunday, uh, 2 months ago, maybe it was before Sandy came back. I think it was about 2 months ago. I mean, by the end of the day, I was so thirsty, it was ridiculous. But during that day, in particular, I just for whatever reason did not feel like drinking water. I don't. This doesn't usually happen, but it happened that day. But by the end of the day, I couldn't take it anymore. Dry fasting is awesome. Is this going to turn into a fasting thing? Raw heals the body. The body needs to heal to get ideal weight. Medical medium's dead? What? I haven't heard that. He is a lot younger than he looks. So that kind of does scare me off, especially That's another thing with the McDougals, they look pretty, rough, uh, and I think people that their age that add a lot more fruit and a lot more hydration just don't look as bad. I don't know. When I talked to Arnold, Arnold's the one that actually steered me the most, correct. When I called Arnold probably last year, maybe in June or something like that. He said that the only starch that he really advocates for is potatoes if you're gonna eat any starch at all. He's not really into white rice, or anything like that. Interestingly enough, though, I know he has pasta once in a while. Uh, how long to heal? For what? I mean, that's up to your body. Do I like greens? I do like greens, but I don't digest greens particularly well if I don't have fat. I find that a mango dressing does pretty good on greens. What else? I'm not, the only thing is I'm kind of more into just getting like romaine lettuce or something like that. Do I like Browns? Like the football team? Of course I like the Browns. I don't know what you're asking there. Browns, what? Potatoes? Brown bananas? Anyway, to answer people's questions, I don't know why it's taking this long. It's never taken this long before. I know I keep saying this. It's driving me a little bit batty. I don't think I'm going to be making as many videos as I was. I want to concentrate on getting a steady diet or a steady weight loss before I really start making videos again. But I do want to start getting people on this channel to interview while I'm doing that. So now that the art job is done and I have definitely a lot of time freed up, I'm going to look into getting people on here to do interviews. I asked probably last week at this probably last week what people are who people that want me to interview who do you want me to interview. I have reached out. I did reach out to that Roger at True Weight Loss or something. He just I don't know. He doesn't seem to be very easy to track down. He responded to me one time and that was it. Anthony Williams that's medical medium. I have reached out him. We talked in DMs. It just nothing ever came of it. I can reach out to him again. I don't even remember how that came up, but yeah, I did reach out. We talked a couple you know, said hey, Ava. We said a few things, but after that, it was kind of just he disappeared. And it was kind of the same thing as that Roger. I can't remember. True weight loss. Where is it? I don't know. I can't find it in this gibbers. You seem stressed today. Hope all is okay. Stressed? I don't. Maybe I don't know. Get him to do a reading of you too. Is he like a clairvoyant now? I don't know much about the guy. I just looked into his liver thing and a couple other things. I know he likes potatoes, but I don't really know a ton about the medical medium thing. Yeah. Anyway, I seem stressed today. I guess I could be. The subject is starting to kind of wear on me a bit. Anthony William is decent, but seems wacky. Not as wacky as Raw Foodies, though. That's the thing. This is why I never really wanted to start this channel like this. Is why I never did start a channel. I really didn't want to be a part of this crew. I mean, this is some of the vegans. I don't know what it is. Are some of the wackiest people that I've ever met, and I'm not saying that I'm not one of them, but it just some of the stuff they say and some of the reasons for doing it and all the studies and everything, I just can't watch it. I just can't. Maybe I am stressed today. I don't know. I've had a very strange day. I don't think I'm gonna be on here, for very long either. I got a lot of stuff to do. Alright. Any last words? Dr. Bobby Price. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. I'll write it here, but I'm never gonna remember to do this. I really do wanna turn this into more of an interview channel than anything. He has a lot of YouTube videos. It's easier actually to track people down on Instagram than it is on YouTube. I find that if you, message people, they usually get back to you. A lot of people don't wanna do it. I'm surprised at how many people will have, fairly decent sized Instagrams, but are terrified to come on YouTube for whatever reason. So maybe I'll have to start interviewing, people on Instagram. I think I'm actually gonna start putting more on Instagram than I am here. He's been on Jillian Berry. I haven't been caught up with her videos in so long. Uh, Gosh, I haven't even talked to her in a while either. But yeah, um, I mean, I can look into it. I'll see. There's certain people that I really don't know that I want to have on here. Some of the stuff, some of the when they start getting into the fasting thing and everything, I'm just not. I'm not. I just don't want to. It's just too much. He wasn't. She was getting him on her show. Okay. Well, either way, I mean, I can reach out to her and talk to her about that. But yeah, anything else? I really kind of kicking myself for not putting out the thing out earlier so people actually knew that it was going to be on. I guess I don't know. I'm gonna definitely reach out to people to interview them, like I said, for the channel. As far as making videos, I'm just really testing this thing myself. I might go back to raw. After I went to the doctor, if you guys didn't see the video I did, I went to the doctor. My liver was, I think that was actually last Friday. Yeah, that was a week ago. My liver was out of place. My stomach was out of place. My right kidney was out of place. And my spine is twisted. My pelvis is out of place. There's just so many weird things that happen with me that I just don't nobody can figure it out. Put it on Instagram story that you're live. That's a good idea. I'll have to start doing that. If you're going to raw, are you going to be eating fruit and salads? Probably. I'll have to figure that out as I go along. The only thing that I might just keep in is potatoes. Potatoes seem to have I think potatoes are in agreement with everybody that they're somewhat healing, but there's I just can't figure out why the hell it's been so ridiculous. Unless it's stress, like I said in videos before, my fight or flight is always on, so it makes it really hard for me not to have high cortisol. I want to interview Georgie again because I want to actually ask some more questions that are relevant to a lot of us. The quality of produce is massively going down, 100%. That's why I think I'm going to keep potatoes in. Potatoes seem to be fairly consistent, but actually, I found some really good bananas this week and some really good mangoes this week and some decent strawberries, but I'm not a huge fan of strawberries. So, yeah, that's why I'm not saying 100% raw. I don't want to like get stuck into that because you know you just never know what produce you're going to find. The watermelons have been pretty good, but it all adds up. The watermelon right now are between $6 and $7 a piece. I mean, that's kind of a lot right now. Usually they go down to about 3.49.99. I found good banana and organic Fuji apples, and that's about it right now for me. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw my story on Instagram. I found like the best dates I've ever had outside of like the date people, and I got them at Aldi. Grapes, grapes tend to give me heartburn. So I stay away from them. I really have always had issues with grapes. Strawberries are good in season in the UK, pretty low cal though. So, yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. Is like some of the stuff is so low calorie, and I can't mix strawberries with almost anything. The only thing I can really mix it with is mangoes. It's a good combo, but it's an expensive combo. But dates, like I said, if you have an Aldi near you, it was right in the fruit section. Those check out my Instagram story. It's up now. Those legit were like the best dates I've ever found in a store before. I don't know. I don't know because we're out of date season, so I don't know where they're coming from, but they were good. So anyway, this is what I'm going to be doing. I want to see how legitimate it is. I know a lot of the raw vegans. I mean, they eat a lot of fat, and I don't want to do that. You know, that's a lot of them make up their entire diet from fat. Not an entire thing, but that's where Chef AJ comes in. Like she was always complaining about how when she was raw vegan, she got fat, but when you watch her story and you see what she was actually eating, or her telling you what she was actually eating, anybody's gonna be fat on the diet she was eating. Do you only eat when you are hungry, or do you do breakfast, lunch, and dinner? I don't have any meal times at all whatsoever. So I just eat when I'm hungry. Like today, after this live, what time is it now? 4:46. I'll I'm gonna be going out and doing DoorDash, and I don't know when I'll be done with that. So I'm not eating in the car. I hate doing that. So that's I can't schedule things. So no, to answer your question, I don't really do pre-programmed or whatever meals. I just eat whenever I'm hungry. I do tend to make, 2 of these in the morning when I get up, and then whenever I'm done, I'll maybe make another one. Just eat the customers' burgers. I had this customer today. I think she wanted me to eat, more than the burgers. It was quite an interesting day. I've been drinking sweet potato banana. What? Sweet potato banana? Why? Oh, man, I couldn't do that. I could not do that, but, if it works out for you, awesome. Yeah, I had an interesting day on DoorDash. I dropped off this order of Chick-fil-A to this house. This woman comes out to me. She was pretty too. She waved at me. She bent over and like everything pops out. And she looks back at me and smiles and waves again, closes the door, and then opens the curtains and watches me as I back out the driveway. And I'm like, I don't know what kind of setup this is. Like I start going into this, like, what kind of setup is this? So I didn't say anything to her. I wanted to, of course, there they were. But I don't know. I'm kind of kicking myself for not doing anything about it, but at the same time, I don't know. It reminded me of an episode of Punked or something like that. So I didn't do anything about it. But yeah, that was um that was one of the most interesting drop-offs I've had. I've had a couple similar to that. I work at a grocery store. I saw some guy buy a bunch of Dr. McDougall soups. I noticed his cart was full of potatoes, rice, veggies. Maybe people are catching on. I think people are catching on, if nothing else, because of how much cheaper it is to eat this way. Join me and my bazungas for Chick-fil-A. I mean, it was an invitation. I know it was an invitation, but to what? I'm so like apprehensive now after some of the stuff I've been through with females that I'm like, I don't know if I want to go into another drama fest, but I don't know. If I happen to get her order again and drop it off, we might see what happens. But yeah, it was it was unique. As far as the Dr. McDougall soups, those things are pretty good, but man, are they high in salt. I I've only bought a few of them. I think I bought the miso one. Oh, wait, well, I guess he's got a couple different he's got the ones where you put the water in and reheat it, and then he's got the ones in the little box. The ones in the little box are way better, way better. I didn't really like the ones where you put the water in. They are expensive for the amount of calories you get. They're stupid expensive. They used to be like 239, and this was even at Whole Foods. And then, what, 2021 hit, and they were like 8.99. It's like, what the hell? So I stopped buying them, but he's got one that's really good. I think it's the chili. At least it used to be really good. They redid them, and they just didn't seem as good after that as with everything else, you know? And on top of the fact, I mean, for the amount of calories, you could pretty much make an entire pot of that stuff yourself for the amount that you're spending on that. Those Engine 2 isn't good to me. Stuff isn't good to me. I've seen them. I've never tried them. I did get, their vegetable stock one time, I think, because it was on sale, but other than that, I haven't gotten anything from them. Yeah, I, uh I don't buy a whole lot of prepackaged anything. I really don't like salt all that much, and everything prepackaged has more salt than I can handle. It's why, I'm like the guy that can eat 1 chip. You know, everybody, like, eats the entire bag, but I literally now, I've had days of eating the entire bag, but, I mean, sometimes the salt, I can't handle it. Or, like, we'll go to certain restaurants or something like that. You know, I haven't really been to too many restaurants lately, but back in the day when I used to go, I mean, it was just so much salt. I remember I forget where we went. We went, Sandy and I years ago. There's this, like, really famous Irish restaurant in Jersey that we went to, and the stuff was good, but it was so salty. I couldn't even finish it, like, at all. Like, I didn't even really even wanna take it with me. They were so mad, but I'm like, "This is just so much salt. I can't handle it." So I've noticed, like, the fancier things get, the more salt they add. I don't get, Chipotle chips. They're way too I can't have Chipotle. That stuff is like eating salt with a little bit of food with it. The problem with ready meals, plant-based ones, people who are newly plant-based, crave because they don't understand. Yeah. Yeah, they are definitely aimed towards people who are kinda new to the whole thing. That's why I don't even bother with it. You know, it's amazing how much salt people put on stuff. I never did. I never liked salt. I never liked salt, so I just stayed away from it altogether. Once in a while, I used to get, I never really liked Campbell's, but I did like Progresso or something, whatever it was, so once in a while, I would get those, but Campbell's just seemed like a ripoff. Yeah, they all seem like a ripoff. I was always like, "Man, I probably could make an entire pot of this stuff for almost what I'm spending here." My brother, salt coo cooking, then salt on top. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's how Sandy is. I'm like, "How in the hell can you have this much salt?" I'm like, she actually stopped putting salt in things just because, her son can't handle it, and I never really liked salt either. Sugar, on the other hand, I can eat plenty of sugar, and I know salt makes sugar, sweeter, but I like green salt, especially on salads. Green salt? I don't even know what that is. Is that the Celtic stuff? I don't think I own salt. I don't even think I own any salt, actually. I just like potatoes to me taste like salt bombs, and celery, asparagus, all of those things that they just taste like salt to me. I used to when I was out on bike rides, and if I was riding in the country, there's usually them sands on the side of the road. Um, and I would buy asparagus and cucumber because there's so much. If you actually grow the asparagus yourself, there's so much salt in it, and it would help me on my bike rides. and then the cucumber just had so much liquid in it. Uh, get Brooke Goldner on here. I don't know if she would come on here. I guess I could reach out to her because I legit have questions for her. I think her program is Starvation Nation. I wouldn't mind asking her quite a bit of questions, but I don't know. I can reach out. I don't know how you get a hold of her. I know she's been on Chef AJ's a lot, but I mean, I don't know if she's going to come on a channel this tiny or not. I mean, that's another thing. Like, I couldn't get a couple of other people because it's just too small. Do you ever look at the vegan solution or on Instagram? Is that Brittany? I don't know. I'll have to look. I'll get back to you. There's no way she only eats veggies and avocados. No, she does throw bananas in her smoothies. It is Brittany. I have asked her a few times. I can ask her again, but that was last year. Would you juice fast to lose weight? No, that's such a stupid idea. If you're gonna juice fast, if you're gonna fast it of any kind, it's not for weight loss. Don't do it for weight loss. It's such a stupid idea because as soon as you start adding food back in your diet, you're just going to end up gaining weight again, and people start freaking out, and then they go on another 200-day water juice fast, and then they come back and they gain like 3 ounces, and then they go on a 300-day juice fast. It just turns into neurotics 101. No. Lauren Locke, she eats fruits too. Yeah, I mean, Brooke, but I mean, she legit, her macros is real close to keto. It's not 100% keto, but it's very close to keto. And I really want to ask her about that because it seems like you would have to stay on that the rest of your life and not shy away from it. Otherwise, you would just gain weight. Thanks to her, I did start adding more kale and spinach with flax oil. I mean, if you're looking to gain weight, I mean, flax oil is great. It's usually rancid though. You'll either binge or starve and be incredibly ill. Yeah, any of these fasts. Lauren has a water fasting place in Costa Rica, and her and DR had a fight about people dieting there or dieting there. I'm not a proponent of this. If you want to fast for religious reasons or whatever, fine. But people who turn this into a weight loss thing, it's just a complete neurosis. It's absolutely ridiculous. And to assume that humans didn't know how to find food back in the day, like they were stupid. You spend your entire day trying to find food, and it's just and wouldn't have food or just went 20 hours a day without finding food. I mean, just come on, man. There's just no way. It's just saying how stupid humans, you were. They got here somehow, right? So you have a hunger drive for a reason. There's a reason for this kind of stuff. You have all these drives for a reason. You know, you have the drive to breathe. You have the drive to pee, to take a dump. I mean, you have these for a reason. It's not like, oh, this one's stupid. This one's good. This one's stupid. It's like it's ridiculous. Uh, no, Professor Spira didn't write mucusless diet. That was and what is it? Arnold Ehret. He just rewrote it. Professor Spira just kind of added his own thing to it. And interestingly, in that book, even though he preaches about raw vegan, he says that raw vegan is a fad and no more of a health, no more healthy than I forget how he phrases it in the book, but it's in the book. But he just rewrote it. It is a bit different because I actually have both versions on Audible. I have the original Arnold Ehret, and then I have the Professor Spira one, and there is definitely some disagreement in the two. So, like, one of the things that I find very strange that they tell you to eat is if you're gonna eat toast or bread or anything, to, like, almost burn it and then eat it. I find that to be really strange because it's gonna have more carcinogens in it. Or if you're gonna eat potatoes, uh, to bake them only. There's some really weird stuff in the book that I'm sure he knew what he was talking about, but I just find very odd. But I would definitely advise if you're gonna, look into the mucusless diet, I would definitely 100% read or listen to both of them, and then kinda, like, make up your own mind. Are you cutting out rice? What do you think is hindering your weight loss? I don't know. I'm gonna figure this out. So I'm just gonna take some time and figure this out, and hopefully just do interviews in the meantime. Because I've noticed a huge drop off in some of the videos I make, and I know it's because I haven't lost the weight, and I'm actually confused about it, myself. It could be stress. Yeah, maybe it's stress. It could be it legit 100% could be stress. You should do an interview, like, legit, my brain, for whatever reason, and I can't seem to figure out how to get it to stop doing this, turns everything into fight or flight. Everything. Like, literally going up the stairs, my brain will stress out about it. Drives me crazy. You should do an interview on Chef AJ show. They gave me the application, to do it, but I really wanna get the rest of this weight off, whatever weight that might end up being. I'm not looking to be super ripped. I don't really, if it happens, fine. Um, that's really not the goal. The goal is just to get to a weight where my breathing as isn't as labored um and everything like that. And I've noticed there's been more pressure on my hips and my knees and my feet and everything. I just want to be able to move more, whatever. I don't look stressed. Your eyes are clean and white. Well, here's the thing: it doesn't show on my face ever. I'm 42. Right? People tell me I look like late 20s or 30s, whatever. It doesn't show on my face. I don't really show it. I'm kind of like a cat. Like a cat is basically on its deathbed before it finally shows that it has any stress. You know, I'll probably age like 100 years before, like the day before I die or something like that. I have no idea. So there's that. Yeah, it really doesn't show on my face hardly ever. And I just have like a little light on here. It's not like I got like this lighting rig in front of me. So yeah. Do you think you're getting enough sleep? Um, yeah, I sleep like 9 hours a day. I really didn't want this to turn into a consultation for Ryan, like poor Ryan. And so that's why I really don't want it to become that. And that's why I wanted to just do interviews and other things. Maybe it's water weight. I have no idea. Like I said, I'm gonna get it figured out. When weight does come off me, it comes off so effortlessly and fast. It's not even funny. It's like literally a pound a day. So I got to get myself back to that point. Um, and it's just talking about this all the time is really, I think, where the stress is coming from. That's why, like I said, I'm repeating myself in here. I really just want to do interviews and just, maybe reaction videos and stuff like that. And once I finally get this figured out, because I know I have people on here to watch this that really need help losing weight. And I've never had an issue like this before. I don't, but I've also never been running a YouTube channel about weight loss. So I don't know if they go hand in hand. I really have no idea. I've just never in my life, when I've had such a consistent way of doing something, not gotten results from it. Like even outside of like dieting, like when I went for the photography, when I started that studio, when I was just very consistent, did it every day, it just started blooming and opening up exactly where I needed it to. And just whatever reason, this just hasn't been that way. And if it's a sleep thing, I guess I'm screwed. But what can you do? Plentiful Kiki? No. No. How come, veganism is not popular as keto? Well, look at the money behind it. Veganism will keep people out of hospitals. Keto will put people in hospitals, but the beautiful part about keto is it's like smoking a cigarette. You know, and, they're probably gonna get cancer or something from it, but it's like 30 years from now, and that's the beautiful thing about keto is you are not going to have the repercussions from it for like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and you're not even gonna put 2 and 2 together. Fruit is life, but too much gives me gas. Is there a certain fruit that is easier to digest? Yeah, if you have too many, but this is the thing, this is different for everybody. Sometimes too many bananas give people gas. Sometimes too much dates gives people gas. For me, if I don't have watermelon with the seeds in it, I get gas. I actually really like watermelon with the seeds in it. I just eat the seeds, and my digestion is beautiful. The order you eat fruit into, yeah, I mean, it really is dependent. There's Look up a food combination chart. Like technically, you're not supposed to eat bananas and strawberries together, but a lot of people do. So if you're having a problem with that, because of the acid, subacid, and tropical and all that, you look at a the only I've said this so many times. The only thing that I like about Robert Morris is his food combination chart. So look that up because if you are getting gas, that might help you. Freely also did a video. Maybe I'll do a reaction to that video next. Freely actually did a video about food combination. You can be keto so easy. You can go to any fast food restaurant and still be keto. It's set up that way. I mean, that literally, you can't put an advertisement out in America if you own a restaurant and you have a food chain without sending it to the FDA for approval first. Like, and if it's not got enough cheese in it, literally, they'll send it back to you and say, put more cheese in this. Those mixed fruit salads don't digest well. Yeah. Again, like a lot of like melons. Perfect example. Melons, eat them alone or leave them alone. 100%. Don't mix them with anything else. Now you can eat like cantaloupe and watermelon together or like um what's the other one that I really like? Doesn't matter. But you can eat melons together and that's fine, but you really got to look at the combinations. Actually, if you just eat a fruit by itself, like bananas and dates, I don't know if anybody's gonna have an issue with that. Bananas and mango mix pretty well too. Thanks, I'll look up that chart. Yeah. Maybe I'll actually do another. I know I've done a food combination video before. Maybe I'll do another one. Put that up, and then in the description, I'll just put that PDF of that chart because I know I have it somewhere. I actually had him email it to me. But that's a huge thing. If you're mixing 20 fruits, if you juice them, you might not run into that issue, but it's the fiber. It's the different kinds of fiber. Imagine a restaurant called Refuel, nothing but rice, sweet potatoes, fresh fruit and juice. I mean, I'm sure if you go to California or Oregon or Washington State, you might find something like that. Even like if you went to New York City, there's probably they're probably just called Asian, Chinese restaurants or something. You could react to freely when she ate more processed grains like pasta versus now. Maybe it's age, but I think she looked tighter and happier back then. That woman seems miserable now. I mean, just miserable. Are fast food restaurants designed to get people sick or what? Yeah, of course. All this, anything fast or anything, supplemented by the government, I mean, stay away from it. Any sugar will produce gas if you're backed up, for me anyway. Yeah, I can see that 100%. It's just the same as if you try to drink that kombucha or something and you're backed up. That is going to destroy you. Just got here. Do you think you will go raw for the summer? I'm gonna go mostly raw. I do think I'm gonna keep potatoes in. And actually, whatever reason, pasta digests really well with me too, but only stuff from Italy. Just because I don't know. I'm gonna see. I'm not making any promises. I'm not gonna claim any like ties to anything. I'm gonna see. I don't I don't like being raw because I'm freezing all the time. So I want to do like 90% raw if I can. I'm going to see how this happens because potatoes mix really good with vegetables, even if they're not cooked for me. So I can just, uh, do like that vegan solution does. I mean, she has potatoes with every salad. That restaurant will go out of business. Not necessarily. If you have a big enough pool of people, it's just like if you like when you go to New York City, like when I've been to Manhattan and stuff, there's just like it's what 18 million people that live in this little spot in the country. Um, there's going to be a market for it. But if you try to open up a shop that's just nothing but like carbohydrates in the middle of nowhere, Missouri or something like that, yeah, you're screwed. You never it's going to go out. Yep, I get cold with raw and not satisfied, and I don't like constant eating. The constant eating thing I solved was just adding a lot of dates. We can sell fresh sugar cane juice. I've actually had sugar cane juice in Manhattan. Or was that might have been Brooklyn. It was in New York City somewhere. I don't know. It's so big. You just kind of but you have to go across the bridge. I think I was in Brooklyn for that. But yeah, I've had sugar cane juice there. And I think I had it in Philly too. There's a pretty big Asian population towards the Ben Franklin Bridge in Philly. Again, that's another big area. I mean, it's 6 million people living in the city. So that I like. When if you go to a place and everybody knows your name, that starts to freak me out. But if I go to a place and like it's just endless walls, I'm fine. I'd rather live 5 years less than be fully raw, at least with this. Yeah, you don't have to worry about it then anymore. You checked out. We can sell cycling equipment. I did have an idea of a cycling company, and I know it already exists. But to buy a van and just have a workstation in that, and just drive to people's house and fix their bike, and then give them their bike back. But the problem is with that is overhead gets ridiculous. And a lot of those companies go out of business because it's just overhead eats them alive. Because you gotta have parts for just everything. I suppose you could ask the people what's wrong with it before you got there and have the parts, but anyway. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I have actually done business with cycling on eBay. Um, a lot of places don't do this anymore, but back even like 10 years, not even maybe 5 or 6 years ago, a lot of bike shops would keep a bin of just like $5 or $10 bike saddles because a lot of people would buy a saddle when they bought the bike and they would just take the factory one off, throw it in a bin, and charge you $5 for it. And I would go in and buy the entire bin for however much. I would say, like, look, I'll give you $50 for that bin. Those things would make me a ton of money. If you go to garage sales, you can usually find like little kids' bikes. Those things ship fairly decent price, so they'll sell pretty good. It's tough having a business, so many business fees. It's all writable. You can write it all off. It's a lot of hustle. A way about it is to have a lean bean section in all vegan restaurants. Way about it is to have a lean bean section in all vegan restaurants. Like low fat stuff. There is a lot of restaurants around here that have vegan food, but it's all high fat, like all high fat. That's another thing. That's another problem I ran into when I moved back here because we kind of did live in the middle of nowhere before we left, and I didn't have any vegan. Like there was no vegan restaurants anywhere near, so like it was just whatever I cooked. But when you move here and there's vegan options everywhere, and none of them are low fat, it adds weight pretty quick. That's what I mean on the menu, have a high carb, low fat section. I mean, you could test it out, see if it works. I think if you call it high carb, low fat, though, people aren't gonna buy it. It's just like the pies at Whole Foods are vegan, the fruit pie at Whole Foods are vegan, but when they market vegan, people won't buy it. But if they don't market vegan at all, people will buy them. I would name my restaurant, Hummingbird. Sounds like a bird feeding place. People come to buy seed. We thought about opening up a restaurant. I don't think either one of us gonna do it anymore. I would name. Oh, that's the thing. Quite. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, anybody who's worked in the restaurant world knows just how much work it is. I mean, you are at least 80 hours a week, if not more. Oh no, that's what I'd call it, lean bean or the skinny rabbit. That might make sense in UK. There's a vegan grill called Santana's. It's high fat. They're all high fat. It's so much work, yeah. Restaurant, I mean, if you're gonna work in the restaurant world, you at least better plan on working 80 hours a week, if not 100, for the first 30 years. Where I live in Colorado, oh, yeah, I haven't been there. I'm not a huge fan of what's going on there, so I haven't gone. I got family there. I've never he's in, Steamboat, um, which I hear is a decent area. But, he and I don't get along, so I'm not gonna be visiting there anymore. Yeah. But anyway, I think this has been, decent enough. If you keep the food simple, it would not, be as much bullshit. You're gonna be there all the time. You got opening hours, you got closing hours, you got people that need your help, you gotta order food, you gotta do this. You're never gonna have the amount of money to hire all these people in the beginning, so you're gonna be all those people in the beginning. Trust me, I worked in the, restaurant world for 15 years, and technically, I kinda still work in it. Trust me, everybody thinks it's easy, I'll just start a restaurant. It is not easy. I can't even tell you when I worked in food distribution, I can't even tell you the amount of places that closed a year, and they thought it was so easy. No delivery, only walk up, only cash. Dude, that would make that no one's coming to you. Trust me, people want to reinvent the wheel with a restaurant industry. It's not going to happen. You are going to be working 80 hours a week. I guarantee it. I worked in the industry for a very long time. I still have family in the industry. Off topic, but what video games would you play and stream? I'm definitely gonna be making a lot of video games about this, Zelda game coming out, Tears of the Kingdom. Um, I wanna talk about my favorite Zeldas. I would like kind of a podcast style videos on what video games mean to me. And I really would like to start it with, have, like, a podcast with somebody else, like, bounce ideas off each other, especially if we didn't agree on a lot of stuff. I think that would be fun to watch. But, we'll see what happens. I really wanna make that, I'm gonna make that happen to some degree over the summer. You come in, we only sell rice, potatoes, fruit juice, and oatmeal, nothing complicated. It doesn't matter. If you're going to have hours of operation, you are going to be there a long time. 100% been in cafes for 7 years, mom 13 years. It's tough. Yeah, I've had this conversation with people before when I worked in the food distribution. People brand new to the industry, and they thought they're gonna work like a 40-hour week. I said, "Oh, okay, you'll be out of business pretty soon." It just doesn't happen. It just does not happen. That place is going to absorb your hours every day. Every day. Look at that, show Restaurant Impossible. Look how, like, I think, like, he's got, like, 130 episodes and only 17 still made it after he came in there. It is a rough world. It is a rough world. I mean, from And now you got, all these reviews online. You got people taking stuff on Instagram, one wrong thing, nobody's showing up to your place. It is like one of the worst industries to get in if you think it's going to be easy. It is not. I don't care. You could serve one thing. I know people who serve empanadas and they work 72 hours a week. I'm telling you, people, pie in the sky with restaurants. There was a restaurant that served seafood that was right across kind of where the distribution place was. And the FDA went in there one day and the kitchen was in such bad shape. The FDA literally shut them down that day, that immediate second. They never opened up again. They went into the dining room and they told everybody to leave. The meal was on the restaurant. They just, I'm telling you, it is a terrible industry to be in if you want to not work a lot. Nobody would pay for a restaurant like that, rice, potatoes, and bananas only. That's easy stuff to make at home. Maybe a low-fat, raw menu with intricate flavors. You have something there, but you're still gonna be there 80 hours a week, guarantee it. I've got, like, 30 people leaving right now because 'cause they're tired of this conversation, but it just is what it is, man. Even if the food was simple, you got to clean, shop, keep up with, certificates, handling money, so much. Yeah, anybody if you somehow watch this video and you think that starting, a restaurant is gonna be easy, oof, oof. I mean, I worked like 100 hours a week sometimes. I think my average hours a week was 72 hours and I was on the distribution end. Broken machines, yeah, oh my gosh. The cleaning, the FDA showing up whenever the hell they want to. It is not an easy, it's not an easy life. If you make it past 2nd year, you might have a chance, but most places do not. I think it's like 75 to 80% people don't make it to the 2nd year. There's a reason for that. People, especially if you're somebody who has never even worked in the restaurant industry, don't even bother. Don't even bother. Go get a job. If you really want to start a restaurant, go get a job in the restaurant industry first. See how crazy it is. See why everybody that worked there smokes and is an alcoholic. See why everybody's on some kind of methamphetamines or something. The industry is rough. Rough. How hard is it to clean rice cook? Dude, stop, man. How many restaurants have you worked in? How many restaurants have you owned? It's just it's like a non-issue. I'm not even gonna argue about it anymore. It's ridiculous. Uh, do it for a month so you can get some respect for those who do. Yeah, people who don't respect those who work in the restaurant industry. Ugh, it's such a rough life. It really is such a rough life. Tell us some horror stories in the meat processing industry. I have in some of my lives, and I got a lot of complaints about it. Um, Yeah, I don't even know if I wanna go down that. I haven't worked in any restaurant. I'm just, making conversation. No need to get defensive. I'm not getting defensive. I'm just telling anybody who watches this, that's an 80-hour at least, work life. It's an idyllic, thought process, but it's just the reality of it is really ugly. Anyway, coming up on an hour. I gotta get going. But anyway, I'll probably do a live on Tuesday, maybe around 6 or something like that Eastern, and we'll go from there. So anyway, thanks for joining. I'm gonna get heading out of here and have a splendid weekend.